Welcome to the Tech Life Well podcast with Theo Hale and Aria Wells. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here with you all.
Right now, AI coding assistants are fundamentally reshaping the future of software creation.
They really are.
They are driving massive global economic shifts. Most importantly, they are actively improving the daily lives of developers.
Absolutely.
AI is transforming technology and innovation at an unprecedented pace. Today, we are looking at the sources behind a specific tool.
GitHub Copilot.
Exactly. It does much more than just write code. It improves developer health and wellness.
Right, by removing the frustration of repetitive tasks.
Yep. We will explore exactly how this shift is impacting the global economy.
It's a massive shift, honestly.
It really is. Now, for our mission today, we're going to take a deep dive into a massive stack of source material we've gathered for you.
Oh yeah, we have a lot to cover.
We do. This includes GitHub documentation, research blogs, and some really comprehensive market reports.
Yeah.
The goal here is to unpack how an AI coding assistant evolved from, a simple autocomplete utility.
Into a fully agentic platform.
Exactly. An agentic platform that market experts project could boost global GDP by $1.5 trillion.
Oh, which is just a staggering number.
It is. So we want to understand the underlying mechanisms making this possible and the real daily impact on the humans sitting behind the keyboards.
Right, because that's what really matters for you, the listener.
Exactly. So to start, we need to completely reset how we think about this technology.
Yeah, a lot of people hear AI coding assistant and they immediately picture, predictive text on their smartphone.
Right, like you start typing a sentence and it probabilistically guesses the next few words.
Yeah, and while that is how the original Copilot started, the documentation shows the current reality is light years beyond that.
So what does that current reality actually look like?
Well, it is a completely different paradigm now. I mean, the foundational experience is still there. It integrates directly into what developers call an IDE.
Which is an integrated development environment, right?
Exactly. For those outside the engineering world, an IDE is essentially the digital workbench where programmers write, edit, and test their software.
We're talking about tools like VS Code, JetBrains, or Visual Studio.
Right. So the AI is still sitting right there at the workbench with you, generating suggestions, but it has expanded into a comprehensive platform.
Right, I saw that in the docs, like Copilot Chat.
Yeah, Copilot Chat is huge. It allows a developer to highlight a massive block of confusing code and simply ask, what is this doing?
Or why is this breaking?
Exactly. Then you have Copilot Edits. That lets a developer issue a single natural language prompt, and the AI will go in and modify multiple different files simultaneously to achieve that goal.
Oh, wow. Multiple files at once.
Yeah. And there is even a command line interface version for developers who prefer working purely in text-based server environments.
That's incredibly versatile. But the feature in these documents that completely blew my mind is the Copilot coding agent.
Oh, the agent is a massive leap in capability.
It really is.
Yeah.
The agent operates autonomously in a background environment powered by GitHub Actions.
Right, which is essentially a system for automating tasks.
Yeah. And here's how it practically works.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be typing code.
You literally just assign a project issue or a bug report to the Copilot agent.
And it just wakes up. It explores your entire code base to find where the problem is, writes the necessary code changes, and then runs the automated testing suite.
Just to make sure it didn't break anything.
Exactly. And if the test fails, it reads the error, rewrites its own code, and tests it again.
It's relentless.
It is. And once it passes, it opens what is called a pull request.
Which, for context, is basically a formal proposal asking a human to review and approve the new code before it gets merged into the main project.
Right. It feels like we've gone from having a smart typewriter that finishes your sentences
to having a highly capable intern.
Yes. An intern who reads your project brief, digs through the company archives, writes up a draft, tests it, and leaves a finished, polished folder on your desk for you to review.
That's exactly what it feels like.
But, I have to ask, if the AI is doing the entire task, from reading the initial bug report all the way to submitting the final proposed fix, is it really still a Copilot? Or are we actually looking at an autopilot system?
That is the big question. And the market is undergoing a fundamental shift from what we used to call AI as text to programmable execution.
Programmable execution. Okay.
Yeah, but the reason it is still a copilot and not an autopilot comes down to how it interacts with existing human workflows.
Because it still needs us at the end of the day.
Exactly. The genius of this architecture is that it utilizes established gates, like the pull request we just mentioned. The AI is doing all of this heavy autonomous lifting in what we call a sandboxed, ephemeral environment.
Meaning a safe, temporary, isolated test space.
Right. It cannot directly alter the live software that customers are using. It significantly reduces the friction of the software development lifecycle, but it does not remove human oversight.
So the agent can write the code and run the tests and propose the solution.
But a human developer still has to read that pull request, evaluate the logic, approve it, and manually merge it. The AI does not have the authority to approve its own work.
Okay, that makes sense. But if human developers are moving away from writing every single line of code from scratch.
And moving toward reviewing and guiding the work of an AI agent, yeah.
Exactly. How does that actually change the daily reality for the person sitting in the chair?
Well, we have hard quantified metrics on this now. We aren't just guessing about productivity anymore.
Right, the data and the research.
Yeah, and the data tells a fascinating story about both speed and cognitive load.
The speed metric in the research was absolutely staggering.
It was. They ran a highly controlled experiment where developers were tasked with writing a JavaScript HTTP server.
And the developers who used Copilot completed the task 55% faster, right?
Yes, 55% faster. It took them 1 hour and 11 minutes, compared to 2 hours and 41 minutes for the control group who coded entirely manually.
That is a massive time save.
It is, and that speed is intrinsically linked to how much of the rote typing the AI is taking over. The research notes that in the specific files where Copilot was enabled, the AI completed 46% of the code.
Okay, we need to be very precise with you on that exact point.
Yeah, definitely.
The documents explicitly state that it wrote 46% of the code in files where it was enabled.
Right, we aren't saying that Copilot is writing half of all the software in the world right now.
Exactly. It is a highly localized metric based on active usage. But frankly, the speed wasn't the most impactful part of the data to me.
Really? What stood out to you?
The wellness statistics were incredible. 75% of developers reported feeling more fulfilled in their jobs.
Wow.
Yeah, and 87% said the tool helped them preserve their mental effort during repetitive tasks. Plus, 73% reported that it helped them stay in the flow state.
Ah, that deep, uninterrupted zone of focus.
Exactly. The research also highlighted that less experienced developers actually see a greater relative advantage than highly experienced senior developers.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
It's like having a dishwasher for code. I mean, nobody wants to wash dishes by hand when they could be focusing on actually cooking the meal.
That's a great way to look at it.
But I do have some pushback here. A 55% speed boost sounds incredible on paper. But is that actually realistic for massive, complex enterprise software? Or did they just test it on something incredibly predictable and basic?
That's a very fair question. The 55% metric is not a universal law for every engineering task in the world.
Right.
Writing a standard JavaScript HTTP server involved a massive amount of what programmers call boilerplate code.
Boilerplate, yeah.
Boilerplate is the necessary, standardized, highly predictable setup code that you have to write before you can actually start building the unique features of your app.
It's like a lawyer having to format the margins, headers, and standards clauses of a contract before they can actually write the core legal argument.
Exactly. And that is exactly why the wellness numbers are so high. Productivity here isn't just about raw keystroke speed. It is about cognitive endurance.
Cognitive endurance, I like that.
By shouldering the boring, draining, predictable boilerplate work, the AI fundamentally reduces a developer's cognitive load. Think of it like having a dedicated prep chef in a high-end kitchen.
The one chopping the 50 pounds of onion.
Right, measuring out all the spices, getting the pans hot. The head chef, the human developer, gets to step in and focus entirely on combining the flavors, tasting the dish, and perfecting the complex architecture of the recipe.
Because the AI prevents the head chef from burning out on the tedious prep work.
Exactly. And regarding the junior developers, it helps bridge the syntax knowledge gap. A junior developer might understand the broad logic of how to solve a problem, but they lack the specific memorized vocabulary to type it out quickly.
And the AI supplies that vocabulary instantly.
Yes. which allows less experienced programmers to act like architects much earlier in their careers.
Okay, so when you take one developer's preserved mental energy, you eliminate their blank page syndrome, and you give them that speed boost on boilerplate tasks.
Well, and then you multiply that by millions of people globally.
Exactly, you get a massive economic ripple effect. The scale discussed in these market reports is staggering.
It really is. They forecast that generative AI developer tools could add the equivalent of 15 million effective developers to worldwide coding capacity by the year 2030.
15 million. And they project this massive injection of productivity could boost global GDP by over $1.5 trillion.
Yeah, and the current market footprint proves that forecast isn't just theoretical. I mean, Copilot already has over 20 million individual users spread across 77,000 different enterprises.
That is massive adoption.
It is. Furthermore, the open source community activity around generative AI projects is exploding. Open source, where developers publicly share and collaborate on code, is acting as the primary engine for this entire next wave of global innovation.
The notes also point out that the GitHub platform itself serves 90% of the Fortune 100.
Which is a huge detail.
Let's make sure we clarify exactly what that means for you listening. That means 90% of the Fortune 100 companies use GitHub as their foundational platform for storing and managing their software.
Right. It does not mean that 90% of the Fortune 100 are exclusively using Copilot for all of their artificial intelligence needs.
Exactly. It just demonstrates the massive pre-existing enterprise footprint that this platform is building upon.
Yeah.
Think about the economic shift taking place here. It is exactly like the invention of power tools for the construction industry. Suddenly, an apprentice armed with an air-powered nail gun has the output capacity of a master carpenter from a decade ago who was only using a hand hammer.
Right. It completely changes the labor market.
And it rapidly shrinks the skills gap because the tools are doing the physical heavy lifting.
Yep, absolutely.
But this raises a glaring security flag for me.
I think I know where you're going with this.
If 77,000 enterprises are using this, does that mean giant, publicly traded corporations are just blindly letting an AI scrape their proprietary databases and write their core secret software?
Yeah, that sounds like an absolute nightmare for a corporate legal team.
Right.
It would be a nightmare, which is why enterprises approach this very differently than an individual hobbyist.
How so?
The reality is that massive corporations do not just buy AI for the speed, they buy it for the governance.
Governments, okay.
When you examine the architecture of the Copilot Business and Copilot Enterprise tiers, the appeal isn't solely the code generation. The appeal is the centralized policy management.
So they have control over it.
Exactly. It's the comprehensive audit logs, which trace exactly who prompted the AI, when, and what code was produced. It gives an organization the ability to control exactly how the AI is deployed across an entire engineering workforce.
So a company can explicitly exclude their highly sensitive proprietary files from ever being analyzed by the AI.
Yes, they can enforce strict security scanning protocols across the board. They are buying a managed secure pipeline, not just a raw AI text generator.
Which perfectly explains why the platform's architecture under the hood is so flexible. It isn't just one giant monolithic AI brain doing all the work.
No, not at all. Copilot actually routes tasks to different AI models based on the specific purpose of the prompt.
This makes total sense to me. You don't need a massive, hyper-intelligent AI to just autocomplete a simple bracket.
Right, you need a small model that is blindingly fast.
Exactly. But if you are asking the AI to completely restructure a legacy database, you don't care about a 2-second delay. You want the smartest reasoning model available.
Precisely. And the sources list an incredible roster of models that users can switch between.
Yeah, for speed, you have models like xAI's Grok CodeFast 1.
And for deep, complex logical puzzles, you have OpenAI's models like the GPT 4.1 and the GPT 5 series, including the 5.1 codex.
You also have Anthropic's highly advanced Claude 3.5, 4.5, and 4.6.
Right, alongside Google's Gemini 2.5 and 3 series.
An all-star lineup.
It really is. And beyond the ability to route tasks to the most efficient model, the platform allows for incredibly deep customization.
Like what?
The sources detail features like Copilot memory and custom instructions. These can be configured at the personal level, the repository level, or across an entire organization.
So these instructions give the AI specific context about a project's unique coding standards.
Exactly. So it doesn't just write generic code, but writes code that looks like it belongs in your specific company. But the most critical technical evolution driving this entire system is the Model Context Protocol, commonly referred to as MCP.
MCP.
Yeah, MCP is an open standard that allows Copilot to securely connect to external tools and external data sources.
The mechanism behind MCP is brilliant. I like to think of it like a professional translator.
Okay, tell me more.
If you hire a translator and just give them a standard dictionary, they will give you a very generic, literal translation.
Right.
That is how early AI worked. It just guessed based on its broad internet training.
Yeah, the general knowledge.
But MCP is like handing that translator your company's highly specific internal rulebook, your private Slack messages, your Jira project management tickets, and your proprietary design documents.
And telling them to read all of that before they start translating.
Exactly. The AI uses that highly specific local data as the context to write the code. It actually understands the unique logic of your business.
It's incredibly powerful.
It is. But inevitably, this leads back to the biggest risk in generative AI. With all these different models running and all these external connections pulling context from internal company documents.
Right, what happens when the AI hallucinates?
Yes. What happens when it confidently writes a piece of code that contains a critical security vulnerability? If the AI wrote it, who actually owns the mistake when the software breaks?
Well, the documentation is unequivocally clear on this point, and it is the ultimate grounding reality of using generative AI.
Okay.
GitHub claims absolutely zero ownership of the suggestions provided by the AI. The legal and functional responsibility rests entirely on the human developer who clicks accept.
The human is still on the hook.
Completely. The sources explicitly state that Copilot can synthesize insecure code. It can reference outdated or deprecated APIs. It can and will hallucinate.
Which is exactly why their core operating philosophy is Copilot, not autopilot.
Spot on. Because the AI is generating code faster than ever, human review is actually more important than ever. Developers have to utilize rigorous, automated testing.
And they have to use security scanning tools like the CodeQL integration mentioned in the sources.
Right, which is a system that automatically reads through code looking for known security vulnerabilities before that code is ever allowed to go live.
And to mitigate data privacy risks, most model providers integrated into this platform like OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and xAI operate under a strict zero data retention agreement.
Which means the specific prompts you type and the proprietary code the AI reads via MCP are not being saved.
They're not being used to train the next generation of public AI models.
Exactly. They also include built-in filters that will actively block a suggestion if it perfectly matches publicly copyrighted code.
But even with all of those robust enterprise protections, zero data retention, and automated security scanners.
A human being sitting in the chair remains the final, ultimate arbiter of quality and safety.
Absolutely. So let's look at the massive picture here. We have traced an incredible journey today.
We really have.
We started with a simple text predictor that lived inside a code editor, helping you type a little faster.
Yeah.
And we have arrived at a multi-model agentic platform that can operate autonomously, pull complex context from across a business, drastically reduce human cognitive burnout, and potentially inject $1.5 trillion into the global economy.
It's hard to even wrap your head around it.
It is. But I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. We've established that the AI is successfully handling the syntax. It is writing the predictable, repetitive boilerplate code.
Right.
Through the Copilot agent, it is even spinning up its own test environments and opening its own pull requests for human review.
Doing all the heavy lifting.
So if all of that is true, what does the word programmer actually mean in 10 years? As the machine takes over the mechanical act of typing the brackets and formatting the commands, does the human role evolve?
That's a fascinating question.
Does a developer look less and less like a traditional coder hunched over a keyboard and more like a philosopher or an architect? Someone whose primary job isn't writing the code, but rather guiding the machine's complex logic, setting the structural parameters, and dictating the ultimate ethics and purpose of the software.
I mean, it is a profound shift in what it means to build technology.
It really is. We appreciate you listening. Follow the Tech Life Well podcast for future episodes and updates.